Hey everybody, welcome in. This is We Called It. Once again, I'm Connor Lucas. I'm here with Dr. Kenneth Call, who we will always introduce first now because once again, Phillip Call, little brother, nerd man, actuary, science, whatever. Nobody cares. We don't. Only
Welcome to the Connor and Ken show.
That's right, featuring Phillip Call. Anyway,
All I know is it's
important-
best for last. I'm at
Listen.
55% on the year, blowing you guys out the water, so I appreciate it.
Once again, we are introducing the two most important people first, myself and Kenneth Call, and we're not introducing Phil until the end. Period. That's how it's going to go from now on. Until, background, Phil has once again decided that he would go at least 500 or better, so until he starts losing, then he can come back up to the top, which is in reverse world because Ken and I are still losing. Except I won last week. But overall, we're still losing. So, reverse world, Phil will be allowed back at the top of the introductions when he starts losing. Anyways, back to what's most important. Meeting and introducing our gentleman here. Dr. Ken Call, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, it's good to be here. Excited. Wife's about to pop. Nervous. Let's do it.
Oh, that's right. Listen, by the way, pregnancy, that's the new thing. We are all about pregnancy. We're going to be talking about new things this week, including pregnancy. That is a fun, hot word that we're going to be throwing in YouTube. By the way, Ken, we're talking about getting our views up. That is a new one. Started out, pregnancy and fantasy football. Nobody's ever done it before.
They're related.
We're
They're very
doing it.
related.
If you're
We're
a
doing it.
seahorse, you're a man, you carry the baby. Just remember that.
Anyways, Phil, we will allow you to have an intro this week.
I don't need to introduce myself. Winning is all I do. People know me.
All right.
I'm
Anyways,
I'm kind of a big deal.
Listen, you're not. We don't. You're not. You're not. But
People know me. I have many
anyway.
leather-bound books.
I just want you to be aware. All right. So historically, do we have the numbers on what we are?
Yeah, I got you.
Let's
One
go.
second. All right, so real quick breakdown. I am at hitting 55%, 16 for 29. Connor's at 44%, 12 for 27. Ken, we appreciate
I'm
you.
also
We
here.
appreciate your time. Your injury insight has been very crucial to me and Connor doing better than you. Ken's at
And the
33%.
number's gonna go up, guys. Don't worry about it.
Just by the law of averages, it has to.
I did talk over you on purpose. Let's do it.
By the way, just so everybody is aware, we were all 50% plus. Everybody all the way last year. So everyone here was 50% plus. So yes, we have credibility. So let's not dismiss this. It took us a while to get our
We
sea
will
legs
rebound. We will rebound.
We
Ken
will
will
rebound.
rebound.
We will rebound.
Anyways.
Phil will continue to suck by being good, and then we will eventually even out. So, fun fact, we'll do the first quick take. There are two topics that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, something about we potentially know more than Nathaniel Hackett, which would be fourth quarter decisions, including time and clock management, number one. And
It's
number
not
two,
potential. We do know more.
we all have a cell phone that tells us what time it is. If you
we are not the CEO that hires an assistant CEO the way that Nathaniel Hackett is the head coach and decided to hire a clock management specialist on his staff after the first week. Okay, so the CEO doesn't hire a specialized CEO helper. Okay, that doesn't happen in real life. Hackett actually does that and has that on his team. Fun fact, if you didn't know that.
Could you
A
imagine-
clock management coach.
could you imagine you're at work, Ken, you're diagnosing a patient. They're like, hey, I think this could be really bad for me, and you go, excuse me, I think it's this, but let me go get this other person who I hired to make these real decisions for me. He makes less than me, and I can overwrite his decisions, but this is the man who's going to give you your diagnosis.
But I'm also the boss.
Perfectly described residency medical education. I have residents. Happens all the time. No.
You know more than them, though, right?
No, it's similar to that, but the exact opposite. So yes, they come in with some garbage, and I have to correct them all the time. But yeah, it's very similar.
It's not you being like, excuse me, I make more than you. I'm your boss. But hey, I just wanted to know if I should give this patient 5 Tylenol or 6. I guess 3 or 4.
So the second thing that we're going to talk about is we always touch on one fantasy thing each week. We can talk about trade that I made again this week that I'm probably going to crush it because I always crush my fantasy trades. And if you are also following my fantasy advice, you're probably undefeated this year. But anyways,
Are you undefeated?
Depends on which league.
Oh, so that's a yes.
Yes,
Undefeated in one. There you go.
in one. So, all right.
No,
we'll
Noah, good trade, but we're gonna listen to Connors.
Phil, enlighten us on the situation that we'll be discussing with fourth quarter clock management.
All right. Well, there's 3 obvious play calls, right, that happened this week that are under extreme review by the public, and people are vehemently against or for them. The first off, Chargers going for it on like 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 on their own 43, up by 2. So the Browns, if you don't convert, Browns are in field goal range-ish. I know Cade York hit a 58-yarder earlier this year, but
close.
He has not.
First down and that's it.
He has not looked reliable since then. And then in the Chiefs versus the Raiders game, there was 2. The Chiefs scored a touchdown to go up 6. To go up 7. And they could get a 2-point conversion to go up 9, or kick an extra point to go up 8. And then the Raiders responded after the Chiefs went for 2 and didn't get it by scoring a touchdown, being down 1, and then going for 2 and trying to get ahead rather than, making the game longer and forcing a tie. So, as the lead analytics person, who I'm sure is going to get yelled at, I will speak last on this one. Connor, what is your take? And I guess you can also consider the Ravens last week, or 2 weeks ago when they played Buffalo, and they went for it right on the goal line, and they didn't end up converting, they ended up losing the game. So those are really the 4 situations you can give your takes on, and if you think going for it 4th down late in games is worth it. Or 2-point conversion, same concept.
I'll say the first one. We started talking about Staley last year at this time, and I wouldn't say he's learned his lesson completely. He's gone for it less on 4th down this year than he has in last year. This was kind of reverting back to his old ways. There's an art and there's a science. Like, there's the quantitative that says numbers tell me to do this and la da da da. We will always do this. No matter what, and then there's the opposite that says I don't care what the numbers say, I'm going with my gut. And there's somewhere in between, and I'll touch on the Browns and the Chargers. I would say, what did the Browns have success with that whole game? The whole game. Browns crushed them on the ground. Absolutely crushed the Chargers on the ground, okay? So this is the qualitative side. You're up by 2. You're on your own 40. You have, sub 5? I think it's sub 5 minutes on the clock. This is not Patrick Mahomes on the other side. This is not Josh Allen on the other side. This is where I'm going with this. This is not a passing offense, okay? This is a run-first offense that has crushed you on the ground. That is losing. That's their number 1 weapon, rushing. Can't do that in a 2-minute drill.
I would say no timeouts either, which obviously makes rushing even harder.
Obvious passing situation. You're up 2. You kick it. If you suck, you've still put the ball on the 25. If you're great, you put the ball on their own 5. Make them go 95 yards, or in this case, 65 yards, rather than 10. You just gave them all of their entire playbook, including running the ball, by going for it on 4th down and missing. So that, to me, was the most egregious take. I don't care where the numbers say. Qualitative would say what have they done well and what can we take away from them? Their best weapon. And I couldn't believe that they did that, and they got lucky, quite frankly. Period. End of story for that one. I didn't pay attention as much as I should have on the other ones, but that one stuck.
Let's see Ken's thoughts as a Browns fan. Because this is Stefanski sucks, fire Stefanski. It's all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was messaging you about this a little bit, Phil, after the game. But the big thing is, for the big thing Connor said, against elite quarterbacks, against passing offenses, if you want to lose, you give Aaron Rodgers, you give Pat Mahomes, you give Josh Allen the ball back with time left, period. Watch that end of the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes playoff game last year. There's how many points within the 2-minute warning? Definitely a different situation. But Jacoby Brissett has, over and over again, just showed he's playing great. He is not, at the end of the game, he's not who you want, in the 2-minute drill. He's thrown, I think, 3 interceptions in the last 2 minutes so far this year. Might be his only 3 interceptions, I think. But the whole point is, you want to make a team earn it especially when, you have Jacoby Brissett. For as good as he's been, he is a backup quarterback. So it's definitely that, the numbers versus, what you're doing. But, the whole situational offense bit, Jacoby Brissett has been looking great. He hasn't been good at the critical times. It's different, definitely different situations there. I was trying to get to, fourth quarter, Austin Eckler, he's averaging, what was it, over 8 yards a carry? He was 170 yards on 17 carries or something crazy like that. But it's so much different when you're going 4th and 2. I know they passed it. But my whole point is when the short down situation is just so different. For example, I think Kareem Hunt is actually a better, 4th and 2 running back than Nick Chubb. I just think he, short yardage has a more quick burst. Nick Chubb's definitely always more likely to break off a 20 or 30 yard run. But whole point is, you can look at stats over the long term of the game, but those situations are different. And I just wanted to see if there's any correlation from Phil, and he didn't give me any.
I'm busy, all right. So real quick, one, to your point on Jacoby Brissett sucking.
I didn't say that.
At the end of the games, he has not played well. It's because they can't run the ball. Connor said it. If you can't run the ball, look at how much better teams are when life is easy for their quarterbacks. Or, some quarterbacks have looked phenomenal this year when life has just been made easy for them, given the situation. And when you put the ball in, Cooper Rush is one, the perfect example, right? Life is easy in Dallas because he's watching Tony Pollard bust out 50-yard runs and then playing with a touchdown lead the whole game. So I get what you're saying there, and that's why Jacoby Brissett is a career backup. When the ball's in his hands, he can't close. All right, just to be the analytics guy and be like, hey, the numbers say to go for it, although I'm not sure if I agree entirely. But think of it like this. This is the logic behind it, at least. The Chargers offense, or the Chargers defense is bad. Just downright, absolutely bad. The Chargers offense is awesome. Would you rather have one play decided by your offense or defense? Or would you rather have the game decided by your offense or defense? If you're them.
Clearly your offense.
So I was going to say, so it's clearly your offense. So you would be like, okay, getting 2 yards shouldn't be that hard. Obviously, down, time of game, having the right, you have to have a good play call, right? You've seen it tons of times where Josh McDaniels we had a great play call for that 2-point conversion, and they ran it up the gut from the shotgun. No, that was not a great play call. And then the other thought is, if you're saying I don't trust my offense to get 2 yards, and you punt it away, or I guess if you're playing defensively, and you're saying I'm going to punt the ball away and try to stop their offense. There's so many things that can go wrong for the that we saw it happen to the Browns against the Jets, where a simple blown coverage, you can give up a DPI. I just think there's a lot of rules favoring the offense in those situations to get chunk yards and chunk plays. That if it comes down to a field goal, I'd rather have it in my team's hands. And I don't know. In that case, it is really close, but I think if I'm the Chargers, I go for it, and I trust the Browns. They can't run the ball, and I trust them not to get the first down.
Yeah, but Phil, this is the straw man argument, though. I mean, hey, if you don't go for it on 4th and 2, that means you don't trust your offense. That's not necessarily the case. You could literally just be saying, hey, defense, I need you one time here to not let them go 70 plus, yards or whatever it is. And hey, by the way, they're not going to be able to run. So, let's drop 8 and let's see if they can beat us. I mean, qualitative versus quantitative right there. You can still believe in your offense and then go,
But what if you don't believe in your defense that much? Because there's been nothing from the Chargers defense that has shown they're any kind of reliable.
I'm not saying no. I'm saying there would be some, if you really wanted to look at it, chances of Jacoby Brissett going 70 yards against drop 8, or send the house on him. He's not mobile.
And to Connor's point, my whole thing with it is it's one play, 4th and 2, win or get it, or I mean you should lose at that point. If you're not playing the Browns, you lose. Versus you're punting it away, and then it's the Browns offense versus do you trust their offense? Do you trust how badly do you trust your defense? You have the clock on your side, and you took away their run game, which is the key part of.
You have
their
timeouts,
offense.
Phil. You have timeouts.
All right, so now let's just be
You
extreme.
can stop the clock.
Let's just be extreme. If you're punting to Josh Allen, are you guys still in the same boat where the Chargers shouldn't go for it?
We talked about it already with the elite quarterbacks. Yeah, you definitely now. You keep the ball out of
the only reason I bring this up,
hand.
the only reason I bring this up is because it's what Oakland did, it's what Baltimore did last week, so it was still very much critiqued. It's the exact same situation where it's a 1-point game and you're making the aggressive call to put pressure or make life harder for the opposing team's offense, and by using your offense rather than putting your defense against their offense.
I would.
Got confusing there.
Yeah.
That's a much different situation. However,
so you're Baltimore on the goal line, and what is it? It's a tie game, and you say I'm going for the touchdown rather than a field goal, because if I get a field goal, I know they're going to get a touchdown.
what's time left?
Sub
5.
5 over 2.
I mean, and if I've got timeouts, yeah. I mean, if I've got timeouts, then I'm kicking the field goal. I am. I am more conservative because I'm gonna say, hey, this goes poorly. This goes badly, and they get chunk plays on the first 2 or 3 times down the field, right out the gate. I'm going to say, all right, that's it. Fine. I'm going to force you to go through the motions. I'm going to force you to kick a field goal or get a touchdown. And if you do, part of it depends on how many touchdowns or timeouts that they have too. How many times can they stop the clock?
Yeah.
There's some of that too.
I was going to say, there's a lot that goes into it, but this was just, again, to see your opinion on a game that also recently happened.
The other part too. How's Lamar doing? Have they bottled him up? It's unique. It is different to have Lamar on the 1 and Jacoby Brissett on the 1. Huge difference. Because I'm running an RPO or some type of rollout, or they're going to spy him, fine. But, I may run like a total bootleg offense flowing away, have him roll out one-on-one, and just say, win. My guy's better than yours. I'll take Lamar in that situation.
So I think John Harbaugh.
Jacoby Brissett.
I think John Harbaugh does the best job of that, and you've mentioned it in our group chat where it is. He understands the game within the game, where it's not, oh, what are the stats across all of our performances, blah 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 blah. It's right now we should go for the touchdown because we've been moving the ball well. Our defense hasn't been playing well. We just try to get the touchdown and force them to score a touchdown because we know they'll get we know if we kick a field goal, they'll get a field goal or whatever. But now, last question for Connor. As a player, how do you feel in those situations? I guess you were at Otterbein, so you were never in those, huh?
I'm telling you, in situations that I have been in there have been 0 times that I've been in a huddle. 0 times that I've been in a 4th and anything. 4th and 10, 4th and 8, 4th and whatever. Every quarterback says, we're going for it. There's no question. Everyone thinks that they can get it. It doesn't matter if they've been over for the whole time. They could have 150 passing yards and 3 picks. We're going for it. We're in it. We're gamers. We're playing. So players are not thinking logically.
I agree.
There are 0 play. Mahomes freaked the F out on Bieniemy 2 weeks ago because Bieniemy probably did the percentages and said, it is not worth it to try and get 40-yard chunk plays to try and get in field goal range on a pretty good defense that had sort of bottled them up. No reason for us to risk that. To do something stupid where Patrick, yes, again, numbers would say he's never going to throw a pick. He's never going to throw a pick. Dude tries to do too much at the end of a half and throws a pick 6. Now you are in a lot of trouble. So you can play whatever you want, but the reality is 4th and goal on the 1. Great players make great plays. I'll take Lamar, and that's what John Harbaugh's always said. I've got Lamar Jackson. You don't. Stefanski says, I got Jacoby Brissett. We're kicking a field goal. Like, it's a huge difference, you know. And Staley, to his own fault, has Herbert. And Herbert may or may not be there yet to start making those game-winning plays.
I think it's also like if you have Keenan Allen, you have your short yardage guy, then you feel confident going for it. Yeah. But to that point, they had Mike Williams and Eckler, and I think it's harder to get the running back out of the backfield for 2 yards, or Mike Williams just is not a guy who makes 2-yard plays, right? He makes chunks plays. All right, Ken, for you, I'm just curious your thoughts on this. The Chiefs go up by 7 with a touchdown. They say we want 2-point conversion. We're going for the 2-point conversion, so we go up by 9. Raiders can't come back. Instead of kicking the extra point and forcing the other team to score a touchdown 2-point conversion, what's your thought there?
The bigger one, I kind of had a bigger opinion on was the Raiders.
That works
going
too.
for instead of going for the tie, going for 2. I thought that was interesting, but no, I especially when I don't like the Chiefs. You got to think you're the better team. You got to have confidence in Mahomes. If you don't have confidence in Mahomes, you got confidence in no one. Go up by 8, and then worst case scenario is they tie you. That's great. You score again. That's how I feel. You're forcing them to score. I mean, I don't think you need to be up 2 scores. They can't get more than you. With that being said, go to Raiders, 4 minutes left in the game, and it's either kick an extra point, tie, or go for 2 and be winning. I don't understand. And Troy Aikman was all over. He's like, man, I love this call by the Raiders. I love this call by the Raiders. I don't get it because when you do that, you're now like, okay, if you're not in field goal range, you just gave Mahomes another down. I actually think it worked out better for them, the fact that they missed. They were losing, and the Chiefs decided to punt it back to them because they're like, we have a lead. Now we're going to make you move the ball. It almost worked out for them. If, Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams, I don't even know what happened on that play. They just tackled each other really well.
If Adams stays in bounds on the previous play, right?
That
was a bad throw. But
the point is, they had plenty of opportunities versus say they're up 1, and then the fast forward to the Chiefs, about 2 minutes left. It's 4th and 2. They're obviously going for it. I have all the confidence in the world that Mahomes, don't care how he does it, he's going to get 2 yards. So I didn't like that call much by the Raiders. I didn't quite understand that.
I love that call when it's like under 2 minutes and they don't have timeouts or something, and it's like, okay, we're going to go up by 1 and they have to score in less than a minute.
It's like, that's a long time.
Yeah, especially for an offense you're scared of.
At 4 minutes, Pat Mahomes doesn't even care about the clock.
We've seen him score in 13 seconds.
So that's my point there. It's the most boring game to watch, and it's the most frustrating, especially if you have fantasy or bets, and you're really hoping to get some extra points at the end. Because if you're like me, you need a few extra scores.
Did Kelsey not win it for you with 4 touchdowns?
Well, no, that part was cool. But my point is, like, the games where you're up by 2 or 3, and you milk a clock, you kick, 6 minutes left, you kick a field goal with 3 seconds, maybe even 15 seconds left, and it's the whole, if you want to win, don't give the ball back to the other team. You want it in your hands. I understand it, the whole thing with like the Chargers, but I think it's different when you're playing Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. They are looking for that fourth quarter comeback. So I don't know, definitely different. I prefer to have like the ball in the offense's hands.
Connor, any last words before we move on to fantasy?
Not really. I mean,
I was gonna say
we covered
a lot.
Good people. Staley, not so good at choosing. Hackett should be fired. What an idiot! And then you have Harbaugh, who seems to get it right more often than not.
Sorry, real quick with Hackett. Why even throw? You have Russ Wilson, throwing picks in the fourth quarter. Just run the ball, kick a freaking field goal. That team can't move the ball. Game over.
If there is one team that should always kick a field goal, it is the Broncos. And it's a terrible take. Like, I don't care if it's 1st and goal at the 1. Just kick the field goal. They are so
you
bad.
You might fumble twice. Yeah.
They are so bad in the red zone that it's just atrocious. Oh my! Did you guys see the KJ Hamler meme where he's wide open in the end zone and people photoshopped Malcolm Butler in the way, and it's like what Russell Wilson saw? Oh man, we'll talk about the Broncos more and firing Hackett next week after they get their butts kicked by the Chargers. Anyways, fantasy, we've been talking about this a lot. So Connor, you had a trade you're all excited about. You share.
This will be really fast. This will be an A1A trade. I am the person that traded out the gate. I traded Etienne and Darnell Mooney for Dalvin Cook.
Someone accepted that. You sent that trade, and they were
before week one. Okay. So all the hype is at the highest hype for Etienne. By the way, he's taking over the backfield soon, so it will look really bad for the first 6 games, and then it'll eventually sort of even out. Darnell Mooney, sorry, buddy, all hope is lost. No faith, none.
The only time he does anything is when he makes an incredible play, like that grab.
Bomb. Hey, just throw it up. I'll get to it. Get to it.
If he was on any other team, he would be not even just usable, but like an every week wide receiver 2 or flex. I mean, any other team.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I have Dalvin Cook. I had my eye on switching to. I have CMC as my other running back. So we talked about it. We talked about it when we drafted. This is a full hero RB. I have the ultimate hero potentially here in Christian McCaffrey. He starts picking it up. He can score for 2 running backs. I went out and shipped off Cook for somebody who was panic selling Tyreek Hill and panic selling Drake London. And I gave up Cook and Curtis Samuel. And I was like,
is this Dynasty?
Redraft, even better. Yeah. Redraft. So this is not like this is redraft. Dynasty, yeah, we're talking different implications. Fine. It's still relatively like it would be even worse if it was Dynasty because Drake London is a top like 5 fantasy asset.
I was gonna say no, you're getting receivers and chipping off Dalvin Cook. I just know you're in Dynasty leagues, but still.
But even for redraft, I thought this was a no.
What was the sale? Was this when Tyreek Hill had a walking boot on for like 5 hours?
That's really what it was. Part of it was he said, "I'm afraid that the punter is going to be throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill next week." I'm like, dude, in my head, I'm sitting here going, awesome. He's going to have 15 receptions and 50 yards. I do not care. I do not care one bit. Because as crazy as it sounds, the first 2 and 3 weeks, it was 1A, 1B. I think after last week, there's a clear-cut 1A, and it is Tyreek Hill. And there's a clear-cut 1B now. Because I thought, man, it's going to be half and half. But I'll definitely buy hey, man, we don't know who's going to be thrown. That is such a short-sighted view on Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tua is going to be back within a month if the NFL lets him. And who cares? If that's not the case, Teddy's still around. Teddy is no schmuck. The guy will be able to run an offense and run a Mike McDaniel offense. Fine. I'll smash it all day long. And now, the rest of my makeup, Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Dillon. Yes, A.J. Dillon.
It's coming back this week.
May come back. We'll see. But either way, I just need him to be serviceable because McCaffrey can still be McCaffrey. My wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. I'm going to go ahead and smash that as my 1, 2, 3 wide receivers all day. And Drake London in the flex. I'll take that one.
I like it.
Kind of just real quick on this quarterback situation. It's super interesting over in Miami right now because before getting that, number one, Tyreek Hill is showing that he is an elite wide receiver. Doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. They're throwing safe options. One maybe 2 reads, getting him the ball. Like you said, 15 receptions, 50 yards. Still, absolutely playable. And it's Tyreek Hill. You can still break it off. But more importantly, Teddy Bridgewater was asymptomatic. Like if it was any other team, if this was 3 weeks prior to the Tua injury, he would have been back in last week. If they hold Teddy Bridgewater out this week, which they already said the other dude's starting, then it is ultra conservative. He will be back next week. Tua is he's throwing now, so he's absolutely not doing non-participant work, which means he is in terms of the concussion protocol, he is asymptomatic. Once again, if this was from week 1 and not in Miami, he would probably be back next week. So you're thinking 2-3 weeks from now. So they'll both be there. Great steal. That is a legitimate steal. It's not a trade. I wish I was in that league.
By the way, this isn't bottom feeder. Dude is 4-1. Why? Because he has Travis Kelce on his team, just like you, Ken. That's why.
Oh. I'm over here at 1-4 with Travis Kelce, and it's been some BS. I'm just gonna put it at that. All right. Anyways. It's been a lot of close losses, or like high-scoring losses. All right, so the trades I helped orchestrate. Just want to get your guys' thoughts on them real quick. So Nate, listener of the show, reached out, and he's like, hey, my team's not looking good. This is the situation. I'm like, dude, go trade your running backs for an RB, or for a wide receiver. He had Aaron Jones, CEH, Josh Jacobs, James Robinson, Miles Sanders, and Breece Hall. So like loaded, no wide receivers. He ends up trading CEH and Aaron Jones for Cortland Sutton and Mike Evans. So what do you guys think? He already had Cooper Kupp as one of his receivers. You start 3.
I mean, Aaron Jones will always have some of his cut taken by A.J. Dillon. I mean, even when they were lining up within the 5 last week and they decided to throw 2 touchdowns from the 1, they still had A.J. Dillon as the lead back. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt with Aaron Jones. He'll always have a ceiling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot
but he
to
still
mention
gets
this, Connor. This is very important. On 4th and 2, Aaron Rodgers, to your point, was all about himself getting the touchdown to win the game because there was a hole the frickin' size of like 4 A.J. Dillons available. And rather than handing it off in the RPO, Rodgers pulls it and gets the pass deflected.
I'm totally fine with that. Bad luck on the pass deflection.
Dude, it was like
Aaron Rodgers, let Aaron Rodgers ball.
Like if you look at like the defensive alignment, there's like 5 guys on the right, 3 on the left, 3 offensive linemen for the Packers on the left. It's like he has it in his gut. No one is there anymore because they're all trying to set the edge, open the middle up, and it was so bad.
Great defensive play call to go for the bat down.
Anyways. Continue. I just forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
In terrible decisions on 4th down.
Yeah. I think he won the trade. I think it's a little closer than we think. But because he has Cooper Kupp, I mean, Sutton is the 1A in Denver. He actually has been incredibly consistent for Denver. I don't think he has any games under double-digit points. And, Mike Evans is still A1A. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care about Julio that much. He can't even get on the field. Godwin has been meh. Gage is meh. Tom's going to go with who he believes is the best. And he clearly believes Mike Evans is the best. Anywhere within the 5, you can bet. First down, guess who's going to the pylon fade? Mike Evans.
That is a ridiculously successful, because fades are terrible play calls. They hit 33% of the time. But with Mike Evans, it's 65. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Last week it was Leonard Fournette who he thought was the best out there, man. I just think it was against Atlanta. It didn't matter.
All right, Ken, we'll let you grade this one. The other trade was friend Noah. He listens occasionally. I hope he hears this. He traded away George Pickens and Breece Hall for Nuke Hopkins and Amari Cooper. Really, this is Breece Hall for Nuke Hopkins and Amari Cooper. And he did it because he already had Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders, and Damian Pierce. So already Breece Hall wasn't breaking, or may have been breaking his flex. That's about it.
I actually would have preferred to trade, probably unpopular opinion here, but I would have tried to do that same trade, but actually get rid of Damian Pierce. I don't trust the offense.
They wouldn't have done it. They
guy.
wanted Hall. That was the deal.
It was that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I get it, but I do not like getting rid of Breece Hall in this situation. I think he's only going to take more and more of that backfield. I mean, he had an amazing game, and Michael Carter had 2 touchdowns on the goal line. I don't think that's
not only did he have him on the 1, Breece Hall got tackled on the 1 for both of those plays, and then Michael Carter vultured.
But I don't think that's going to be happening. Breece Hall is just too good, to keep off. Running backs are a little finicky with injuries. I would, and there's a lot of firepower on that team. I think Miles Sanders, by the way, is legit. He always gets yards. The touchdowns, have come. That offense is looking good. I think that Miles Sanders is legit too. But I would have tried to trade just somebody else. Breece Hall could be that league winner at this point. I think
do you think he could be as good as a Saquon Barkley or an Austin Eckler who he already has and he just needs wide receivers? Give this guy a break. It was a great decision by me.
I actually probably would try to trade Austin Eckler.
I told him to trade Eckler for Diggs, Adams, Kupp, Jefferson, and all those got rejected. So this is where he went to instead.
Yeah. Okay. That's so. All right. I did the same. I shopped Cook for a while. But you couldn't do it until he had 27 points this past weekend.
Yeah, the 2 touchdown games.
By the way, 27 points this past weekend on the lowest snap share he's had all year.
Madison had goal line too. He was almost getting in a couple times.
Madison looks really good catching the ball out of the backfield.
So this is also based off of O'Connell saying 2 weeks ago, I want Madison in on nearly all 3rd downs. And he pretty much was. He's sticking to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of that and just say, hey, my ceiling is unbelievable now. And your worst case scenario, you saw AJ Brown have 7 this past weekend. Hill had 10, and then all I need is 1, 2. If all three go off, you can have 75 points between 3 people and basically get duds from the rest of your team and still win. So.
I named my team in my work league Crank That Volatility because I grabbed like people that just 0 or 100. It's a lot of fun.
Mike Williams.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, we're at way too long talking without getting to betting.
Listen, here's the reality. I want you. This is going to be a different type of show. Okay, so for everybody who's watching, this one is going to be much more football theory. So this is going to be an educational segment, and we're going to fly through these picks. I just want you to understand, this is for everybody who's out there trying to figure out what we're trying to do with this. We're two things here. We're going to educate you about football and football decision making, and touch on fantasy, and we're going to win you money. That is the headline. That's what we're going with, Phil. Continue.
Right, number 1, wonderful information that wins you money in fantasy. Number 2, just do the opposite of what Ken says. You'll make a crap ton of money if you bet.
You'll win 70% of your bets.
With that said,
it's stopping today or tomorrow.
All right.
Or Sunday. We'll see what the bets are.
Let's see. Well, I was gonna say, why don't you lead off? Your Smash Play of the Week. Calling your shot. Some other catchy phrase.
This one's easy. This is the other people in the show home team not let down. That is Cincinnati -2 over New Orleans. Now, truth is, Cincinnati's defense the last 2 weeks has really turned a corner. They're looking really good. They, with the exception of Lamar Jackson missing on some free points with some deep throws, they really slowed down this Baltimore team that has yet to be really slowed down on offense. And so I always believe in their offense. We believe in Joe Burrow. There's no doubt about that on the show. We believe in Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. Thank you, Phil. And truth is, I do not believe in the New Orleans Saints. Taysom Hill will probably have 4 touchdowns again. There's no reason he shouldn't. But no, I do not like that offense. Chris Olave's, I don't know where he's
Probably
at
out.
with
Probably
the new
out.
concussion protocol. He's probably out.
Mike Thomas out.
Is Mike Thomas out? I heard
He
he's
hasn't
coming back.
practiced yet.
Okay, I heard they were pretty optimistic for him, but Alvin Kamara looked good. But Jameis probably coming back. Maybe you see less Taysom Hill. I think that the Cincinnati team is just getting rolling. So rough loss last week, unless you're talking about betting, because they covered with flying colors, and they're gonna cover again this week.
Connor, looks like you're piggybacking off Ken on this one. Why are you making bad decisions?
Yeah, sometimes I tell Cam what to pick. Yeah, the winning ones, but
I also piggybacked off Connor for this one, guys. This is Connor's pick.
This is your Smash Play of the Week, and you're piggybacking off someone else. Nice.
listen, I think
No one's gonna listen to me if they think it's my idea.
I think Bengals are top 10 or top 13 in rush defense, and I think that they don't let. Listen, Taysom Hill is going in the backfield. Okay. 9 times out of 10, he is going to run sweep left, sweep right. Okay? Figure out how to stop that. Oh, and by the way, play cover 1 and just run with whoever is running the one single route that they decide to run when they fake run sweep left and sweep right. I mean, Seattle's defense was so porous last week. I mean, like, it's crazy, that. And by the way, they still gave up, 32 points to this supposedly unstoppable defense or top 5 defense. Just gave up 32 points to Seattle. I know we keep talking about Seattle and we keep going up with them, but they can do that. T. Higgins comes back this week. Cincinnati should be able to blow them out. I mean, this shouldn't even be close. I'm not on the Jameis train. I'm not on the Andy Dalton train. And they have – who do they even have catching passes this week? I don't know. So, yeah, this should be a smash play.
All right. So follow up that with what is your smash play? If Ken stole
Smash
Cincinnati.
play. Revenge game. I don't care what you say, Phil. By the way, spoiler alert, Phil has the opposite of both Ken and myself. So once again, Phil is going to be losing. I don't care what his record says. Phil is wrong on this. Okay.
Phil versus Ken last week, 2-0.
Doesn't matter. New week. Ken told me he's not losing this week, so he's not lying. I know that. So Buffalo minus 2.5. This is basically a pick 'em. This is a total revenge game. Mahomes, Allen, wash. Ken and I were talking about this earlier. You look at the rest of the teams. This is not the same team as last year for Kansas City. They don't have Hill. They don't have, in my opinion, I don't believe that they believe in CEH. I think they have this ambiguous backfield. I'm not on the MVS train. I'm not on the Mecole Hardman train. I am going to take Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Kelsey wash. Are you taking Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, and sort of the same backfield? It's called the backfield's even a wash. You're taking Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox over MVS and Mecole Hardman? Yes, all day long. I'm smashing Buffalo here. This is to me, I see something like that, and it's more or less a pick 'em. By the way, don't worry about what I said last week about the Chargers. That was pretty much a pick 'em. They won by 2. They should have covered because it was minus 2.5. I hate betting. I told Ken and Phil. I texted them immediately when they didn't cover and said, this is stupid. I hate it. So don't worry about that. Different game this week. I'll let you gentlemen have that and chew on that.
Phil,
I think go ahead and piggyback.
I'm sure Phil's going to say something about Mahomes being a home underdog, blah, blah, blah. Don't care because Josh Allen is in for revenge. I think that the Diggs, Gabe Davis, hopefully Isaiah McKenzie comes back. If not, that other guy that they did look just fine. It doesn't matter. It's all about Josh Allen on that side. I think this Bills defense is legit. I think Pat Mahomes had a tough time. What?
Fun fact for Phil here, too. Who do you think can keep away better? Who has a better running offense with a running quarterback? Is it
Buffalo
Mahomie or is it Josh Monster? Okay, it's definitely Josh Monster. Okay, he can keep it away.
Okay, Phil, tell us why we're wrong.
Oh, Phil.
Oh, there is nothing besides the fact that I believe in mythical creatures, and Patrick Mahomes is a dragon, and he's going to come in and just tear it up. I don't know what's going to happen.
He just did it against Tom Brady. He can't do it every week.
Dragons can't exist either, Ken, but I see them every Sunday. All right? There is nothing for this pick besides I'm sticking with Patrick Mahomes. I need Travis Kelce to do well in fantasy this week, so yeah, that definitely skews my opinion. I also think Buffalo I think they play worse in close games. I know Baltimore kind of got the monkey off their back in this sense, but I trust Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in a 1-touchdown game more than I trust Buffalo. So if you told me this game ended
Buffalo by 2 touchdowns,
I would say
gotcha.
If you told me this game was a team won by 7 points or more, I'd be like, okay, Buffalo won. It was probably like 30-20 or something like that. But I'm trusting Patrick Mahomes plus 2.5. We just went over teams are being overly aggressive, going with crazy 2-point conversions, going for it on 4th down, not going for field goals. 2.5, that covers that when things get awry and the team goes for 2 to win the game instead of kicking the field goal. So
who wins the game, Phil?
The Chiefs will have more points if you add 2.5 to their score at the end of the game.
It's a total cover game for you. That's all you care about. Backdoor cover.
That is that is the game that we play in this hour or so of recording. We play fantasy football sometimes and a lot of betting. So
Doesn't matter. Blowout. Buffalo, blowout. Calling it. Buffalo's blowing Kansas City out. You pissed me off. Buffalo's blowing them out.
Can I have like 10 points then?
No.
For the record, that is not my smash play of the week. My smash play is going to be Minnesota. I feel like last week I was talking about how they let me down over and over and over again. And,
What are you doing?
you know, it's I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. They're 4-1. And I have Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team. All right, I'm 1-4. Okay, my team's been good, and this is the point where I gotta start winning. I'm playing like the 3-2 teams now, and you just have to do it so that I can get back in the playoff picture. Realistically, this is a bet against Skylar Thompson. I don't think Raheem Mostert had a great game on the ground last week. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think they can block. I don't think they can run well, and I just don't trust Skylar Thompson to do anything. The only reason Miami looked at all any good on his drives were he threw like 30-yard passes, and they got like 4 DPIs for Tyreek Hill. As long as Minnesota isn't tackling him, they're gonna be fine. The only this game Minnesota should win by 5 and they should be a 5.5 point favorite, maybe 6 point favorite. They're not because they're Minnesota, and all they do is embarrass themselves. Last week they were up 22-7 or 20-3 or something, and they let Chicago come back and get a 1-point lead at one point. So I'm just betting on them to have a complete game and win by 4.
Those sound like kind of oxymoronic a little bit.
Yeah, no, because that's a Minnesota complete game. A regular Minnesota game, they win by 2.5 or 3. So I believe in Minnesota. I believe in Kirk Cousins. Not that much, but enough. And also, can they please start throwing Justin Jefferson touchdowns? I'm tired of this 10 catches for 130 yards crap. Let's get him in the end zone. All right. Let's go on now. Connor, you're picking one of my favorite teams this year coming in. I said they're a sneaky playoff candidate, and they let us down badly last week. Jacksonville +2.
I don't think I picked them last week.
I did. I had Jacksonville -7. I was going to take the under, and that cost me my winning week.
Listen, I think there's ever a get right game. I think the Colts last week versus Denver. I think Denver's offense is so horrific that it made the Colts defense look good. Colts are good. They're middle of the pack type of defense, and they're going to carry this team. This is an indictment versus not having Jonathan Taylor. He didn't practice today. Even if they have Jonathan Taylor, I still think that Lawrence, all right, he's got the highs, he's got the lows. I think this is where he starts to even out. I think Peterson sort of reverts back to, okay, let's get back to what we do. Spread the ball around. I got 2 solid running backs. And by the way, they should have won last week. Trevor Lawrence threw a pick in the end zone and pretty much stopped all their momentum for that. And they still should have won in the fourth quarter. I don't think he does that this week. I think he gets back to the comfort food of Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram to an extent. I mean, I think they have weapons, and I just think Matt Ryan is just not it. That offense in Indy looked awful. They looked just as bad as Denver's offense. That's why he had a baseball score, 12-9, 12-12. I don't think that happens this week. I think it's Jacksonville, and they're getting 2 points. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take that.
All I heard is right next to your "I believe in Joe Burrow" button, you have "I hate you, Matt Ryan."
Dude, if you guys have paid attention to this for a full year now on our podcast, I picked Matt Ryan like 5 times last year just to cover, not even win games, cover. They were giving him points, and he couldn't do it. So, yeah, I hate Matt Ryan.
All right, Ken, let's go on to you. Tampa Bay -8.5. Why are you trusting big old Tom Brady?
Oh, it has nothing to do with that. I don't think Pittsburgh's 9 points worse than any team in the league.
You can hear the Browns fan in him.
George Pickens is really fun to watch, and that's the only thing to watch. Actually, I like Micah Fitzpatrick. He's a playmaker too. That's all that's on this team. But really, Tampa Bay's defense, worried about how they'd come back after Mahomes just, made them Swiss cheese. Turns out they gave up 0 points for the first 3 quarters and then just decided they didn't care at the end. But no, I think that this defense is legit. Besides the Mahomes game, they were giving up 9, 9, 9, and then, or like an average of 9 and then 15 points to the Falcons. A lot of it sort of garbage time. I think that Kenny Pickett's he's a rookie. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna hold on to the ball too long. He's gonna, throw some untimely picks. And I think that Tom Brady in this offense, it's just, a matter of time before they really get it going. I agree, Chris Godwin's definitely hampered by this injury recovery. Russell Gage is Russell Gage, but Mike Evans is good. Leonard Fournette's looking good. That Rachaad White guy that we talked about a lot, looking good. I think this offense is on the way up, and unless there's a crazy backdoor cover by rookie not making mistakes, it's not happening. I'll take 9 points or plus 9 points for the Buccaneers to win.
All right, looking over at Arizona now. Who are they playing? Sorry, Arizona versus Seattle. Dude, my screen was scrolled. I'm sorry. Anyways, Arizona. I have them -2.5. Listen, Geno Smith's PFF's #1 graded quarterback. Their receivers look fantastic. And coming into the year, I think when I was grading the receiving groups, I said, I'm sorry, your quarterback's Geno Smith. And right now I'm looking like a fool. And I'm going to tell you what, Geno Smith is not good enough to make me look like a fool for a whole year. This is an anti-Geno Smith bet. Their offense is going to eventually sputter at some point. And I think Arizona's defense is actually, it's been pretty good. I'm not going to say it's been really good or impressive, but after they start off very poorly, but in the second halves, they come around. They shut out the Raiders in the second half. They shut out the Eagles in the second half when we all needed them to cover. That one hurt. So I'm going to trust them. And now, Seattle's defense is just atrocious, though. I think it's a complete joke. Taysom Hill had 4 touchdowns against them. Everyone does whatever they want. Like, when they played the Lions, it was a crazy shootout. So I'm going to trust Kyler Murray. He's got a better connection with Hollywood Brown now. I think Arizona is good enough to put up some points, and I think their defense is finally good enough to make people realize, yes, Geno Smith is not better than Russell Wilson. And the Seahawks are going to finally come to a sputtering halt after their soft schedule to open up. Things are going to get harder for them. I'll probably be betting anti-Seahawks next couple weeks. Now, similar to this pick, maybe, Connor, you have the under. Is it for the same thought that you think their offense slows down?
Yeah, for the most part. And I actually think that if I remember right, Byron Murphy is like really highly rated for PFF right now as the starting corner. And they got Budda Baker. I think their DBs are actually really solid. Their back end is good. Probably top 10 in the league for Arizona. They only gave up 20 to the Philly last week. I was a little bit more impressed with that than I think I am with, I wouldn't call it fluky play, but I think Geno now is sort of settling in. It's not fluky, but he may not be peak, quote-unquote, peak Geno. These first 5 games are a little bit splashy for me. I think he's going to revert back to the mean. He'll be good, but I think that they don't score. I think even if this gets out of hand, I think Arizona is the one that gets out of hand and holds Seattle back. 50 points, 50 and a half. I don't know. It just seems spicy to me, so I'm going to keep it under that.
All right, let's go on now. Ken, looks like you are going to a Browns game. I don't know why you keep looking at them like they're going to do anything. You have the over. That means you expect them to score some points at least.
Their offense scores points.
Well, wait.
So,
I thought you get a defense to score points. Are you sure teams all use their offense to score?
San Francisco.
No.
No comment.
There you go. But no, so New England Browns, first off, the fact that like the Browns are the favorites in this against the Patriots, against Bill Belichick's, kind of crazy. We have a huge gaping weakness on our team of we can't stop a run. I mean, we made Tyler Algier and whoever's the backup to the backup of Cordero Patterson for the Falcons look really good. The Falcons beat us, and Mariota threw 7 completions. Yeah, I know. I started him in fantasy that week. It was horrible. Then
the Browns can't even screw up and help me right.
I think Austin Eckler almost outrushed his rushing total for the year in that one game with 170-some rushing yards against the Browns. Ramondre Stevenson is good. Damien Harris is going to play.
Plug, we called it.
Whoa. Look at that.
Ramondre.
That was Connor's late round guy.
But we can't stop anything. Zappy, yes. Even if he has a horrible game, what he'll do is he'll make mistakes. He'll throw picks. He might fumble, but that all helps with an over. So I think that Nick Chubb can't be stopped. I think Ramondre, even though, yes, this is going to be a lot of running, clock's going to go pretty quick, but these offenses are neither of these teams can stop the run. I just don't see it being that low scoring because the Browns haven't played a low scoring game yet. We can't stop anyone, and we can keep up.
All right, let's go on. I think it's my last solo pick. I have Packers versus Jets, taking the under. The under's marked at 48.5, if I recorded it correctly. The Packers, all they do is run the ball. The Jets, their defense is playing pretty well, surprisingly. I think Robert Saleh's finally gotten able bodies on the defensive side of the ball. So we remember that he was the lead D coordinator when San Fran, came out of nowhere on defense and started just smashing people in the face. So I think they're going to come in and they're going to stop the Packers. The Packers can't make chunk plays, which is their biggest flaw. If they could, I think they were a good football team, but they can only score like 10 plays, 70-yard drives where they burn clock. So that is going to help the under, obviously, when you don't get burst scoring plays. And the Jets, I think they're way overrated for what they did to the Dolphins last week. The Dolphins turned the ball over on their side of the field like 3 times. Then the Jets had 2 huge plays because of Breece Hall. Like, they just got all the benefits of a high-scoring game laid down at their feet. So I am full on. I'm not a big Zach Wilson fan. I like the Jets offense. I think the Packers defense is it's not good for fantasy, but it's good for statistics. Like, it will actually slow people down and get them to make long drives to score. And then I think the Packers just don't try to score, and they can't score quickly. They have no way to do so. So I am all in against just a lot of scoring in this game. I wanted to take the Packers -7 in a big rebound game and like an Aaron Rodgers, I'm better than the world, but I think this is going to be an ugly, ugly game again for him. All right, let's go on. Ken, your last pick, it looks like you have Denver versus the Chargers. Chargers -5.
Yeah, the truth, I think the Chargers are a good team. That they make some mistakes, and I do not think that this Denver team, without Javonte Williams, can do anything. That was pretty much confirmed on last Thursday. But Chargers don't have a defense, and I don't really think it matters. They have a good cornerback that can cover Cortland Sutton. I don't think Russ is over here getting PRP injections in his lat. By the way, in terms of immediate relief and immediate impact, don't see it happening. That's not exactly how like the PRP or prolotherapy gets into. Don't worry. Don't put that as a hashtag. No one's gonna listen to it. I really think that this offense. Now Denver, they have a good defense. I think that this Chargers offense is legitimate, and I think that Denver will not be able to keep up. I think this is more of a coming out party for the Chargers. They're coming off of a great win that they totally deserved against the Browns. But no, that game could have been worse. I think this game is similar, except for Broncos can't keep up.
All right, Connor, closing it out. Me versus you. One more time. You have the Giants +6.
You go first.
All right. The Giants aren't good at football. I know. crazy hot take. They're 4-1, and Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. I think what Brian Daboll has done has been just like miracle work. I have no idea how they are 4-1. They shouldn't have beat the Packers. They shouldn't have beat the Titans. But he comes out with those slight edges. On the other hand, the Ravens should be winning games by 2 touchdowns. They should have beat the Bills by 2 touchdowns. They should have beat the Dolphins by like 3 touchdowns. They should have beat the Bengals by like 10 points or more. And here they are, 3-2, barely covering, barely beating their opponents. Or losing, I guess. And then they're going to hit their throws eventually. They can't have Devin Duvernay running 5 yards ahead of someone and Lamar overthrowing him, and then on the very next play, whoever Wallace was on the sideline wide open and Lamar overthrowing him. I trust Lamar Jackson to keep up his MVP-esque performances and to come out, and this is finally the lights shine on the Giants, and I don't have the pick because I don't trust 6 points, but the lights are going to shine on the Cowboys. The 2 worst 4-1 teams, in my opinion, both going to lose, and it's both going to be ugly because the flaws are finally going to show, and people aren't going to be able to say, well, they keep winning the game, so they're good at football. It's like, no. The Giants are very fortunate and should be very happy with where they are. They have out-coached and out-schemed to this point. Guess who the Giants' defensive coordinator is? The guy who was the defensive coordinator in Baltimore for like 1 billion years coming into this year.
Wink Martindale. What a name.
I love Wink. I just don't like him when he's going against the team that knows his mentality, that knows the way he wants to play. I trust Lamar Jackson.
Doesn't he know the offense too, Phil?
Yeah, but the thing is, Baltimore has good players. The Giants don't.
Dude, I don't even care. This is very simple. This is a backdoor cover. Baltimore's going to win this game. This is a total backdoor garbage time cover from Daniel Jones, who looked fantastic last week versus Green Bay. They were 6-point underdogs last week, or 6 or 8. 6-point this week. I don't think they win this game, but I think they're going to slow it down the exact same way that they did to Aaron Rodgers. Play keep away, run Saquon. I mean, mirror image, they're going to play the same exact ball this week. Very simple. Wink Martindale's going to try and make it, I think, to Ken's point, a little bit more uncomfortable with Lamar knowing him. I just see that they're not going to win this game. They're going to go 4-2, but I think that they cover late.
All right, so listen. The Packers were up 17-0, or what is it? 17-7 or something like that against the Giants at halftime last week.
Yeah.
They should have won. I just believe that they suck so much that it's got to catch up with you, right? Like, watching the Browns, like, what is it? People are like, dude, the Browns have been in every game that they've lost. And I'm like, yeah, you know who's been in every game that they've won? The opponent. We beat the Panthers, the team we mock each week, which they beat them by a 58-yard walk-off field goal.
Oh yeah,
dude, I brought that up. So like in our family group chat, everyone was like, we should have done this, we should have beat this, and I go, yeah, and we should have lost to the Panthers. And everyone's like, yeah, well, we didn't, we won, so we're better. And I'm like, you can't use it both ways, you know? All right, I'm done. We are over time. Any last remarks?
All I'm saying is we've got way different hot words this week. Ken pregnant. Ken in fantasy football. Ken's not going to lose. Perfect week.
That's right.
He's going to, we got all kinds of hot words here. Listen.
Phil, PRP. Prolotherapy. Latissimus dorsi.
We got all kinds
Get him in there. Get him in there.
Beep,
all
beep,
of them
beep,
going to be
beep,
thrown.
beep. I just bleeped out a bunch of them. We're good.
Football education, winning money, fantasy football. That's all you need.
Smart people.
Smart people. Except for Phil.
More importantly, you need to like, comment, and subscribe.
Why wouldn't you after this?
Make conversation.
if you make it to an hour and 10 minutes of what we just put you through, then you really should like and
hour and
comment.
10 minutes. Dude,
yeah.
40 minutes, man.
Football education.
40
football
minutes.
Theory. You'll be able to coach an NFL team after you're done.
All right. Thanks for listening.